It's hard getting up these stairs in this dress. It has no give at all. Wow, that's something to follow after. That was actually really refreshing to come home to, because I was afraid I was going to come home to like just ordinary, average worship, and I was going to be like mad at you guys. I was going to be like just really human and annoyed at you, because I just came from a place where their worship, you can't even imagine. And I'm going to show you some photos and videos. And but these people, they lack so much, but the one thing that they have overflowing is faith. And it opened up my eyes so much. So I thought, if I come to this church service today and they're all just sitting down, I'm going to be really annoyed. So that was powerful. That was amazing. The presence of God in here is so strong. So thank you to our worship team that brings that in, and our prayer team that's been praying. We're kind of have just been starting that up. If you are somebody that wants to be a part of our prayer team, we just invite you to come. Not a ton of people, but a few people if you want to come before service when the worship team is practicing, and you can walk around the sanctuary here and pray, or maybe even just pray in Pastor Brad's office. But in here, that would be great. So if you want to come, 9 o'clock on Sundays, we invite you to do that and just help us just to usher in presence of God. Okay, Sean's getting my videos and photos and stuff ready. I'm not here to preach to you guys. I'm not a preacher by any means. That's not my thing. I am here to encourage you, though. I am the first missionary to come out of this church in 56 years, which is really neat and kind of crazy. But I know that it was God's timing, and it was perfect timing. I will share with you our friend. He's a missionary from Nairobi, Kenya, who was my host. He came here almost 10 years ago, and he prophesied over me. And he actually shares the story in a video, but if you can't hear it, I'll share a little bit of it. He prophesied over me about 10 years ago and called me into the mission field. And I've always had a heart for Africa since I was little, but he really just affirmed that. And Cameron's 11, so that was about 10 years ago when Boniface was here. And, I started having babies. I nursed all my babies for at least a year, so they're stuck to me, so there's no moving then. Colin, or Cooper, our youngest, is 3, so it just felt like right. And I was planning it with some friends, Randy and Twyla, and they were going to go with me. And then eventually I just felt, you know what? I think I just need to do this alone. I think I just need to go alone. And, this is my heart. This is my passion. And I didn't want to bring anybody along who maybe wouldn't be okay with whatever was going to be going on. Or, I wouldn't bring Brad along, because I could sit in an orphanage for 10 hours all day long, morning to night, and I know he would be ready to go back to the hotel. So I just knew, I just felt, as crazy as it is, I'm going to go, and I'm going to do this alone. And everybody asked me all the time, oh my gosh, are you scared? Are you nervous? And I'd be like, no, I'm good. I'm not scared. And they'd be like, well, I'm scared for you. But no, I wasn't scared. The only thing that I was scared about, since I was 17, Brad has literally done my bills, done everything, that kind of adult stuff. I've not really done a lot of adulting since I was 17, besides have babies and cook and clean. But so he's done all that kind of stuff. So the only thing I was nervous about was the airport and navigating around the airport, where to go. But everyone's like, oh, everyone's so nice in the airports, and they'll just help you around. And if you don't know what you're doing, just ask somebody. They're there to help you. And then you get to JFK, and if you've ever been to New York, everybody's heartless. They don't care about you. You literally could, I guarantee you, I could fall with a broken ankle. People would rush right past me. I literally felt that way. Right now, I never want to go back to New York ever again. Really, I just hate New York right now. Because I get to New York from Omaha. My flight from Omaha to New York was late due to weather. We didn't get on we didn't get on our plane for a half hour, and then you still have to, get going for another 15 minutes. So I thought, oh my gosh, I'm late. I'm just kind of clueless and naive to airports and all that. So when I bought my tickets, I just type in JFK, and all these tickets show up, and I just assume, oh, these are all for JFK. Little did I know, when you go to a website or on an app, you type in JFK, other airports in New York show up. So I didn't fly into JFK. I actually flew into Newark, New Jersey. And you think that that would be like plain as day, but it wasn't for me. So then I have to catch a New York cab, like little old Midwest Ashley, like catching a New York cab, like, but I'm looking like I know what I'm doing. Like I'm looking very confident. I don't want no one to like hijack me. But so I catch a cab in New York, which is kind of funny. I didn't really tell Brad that until he called me and asked me. And it took a lot longer to get to JFK than I thought it would due to traffic. It was New York traffic. So I'm looking at the clock. My cab driver is just booking it as fast as he can, but I'm like, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. I'm gonna miss my flight. So I get to the airport as fast as I can. You know, I've got 3 huge suitcases as well as my carry-on. I rush inside. All the Kenya Airways people are gone. I realize I missed my flight. And Kenya Airways flies directly from New York to Nairobi, Kenya, once a day. So I already knew that. Everyone's gone. People are rushing all past me, and I'm standing there bawling in the middle of JFK. Because I realized I just missed my flight, and now I'm missing a whole day, and Brad's not here, and I'm overwhelmed, and I can even feel myself getting like worried now, and it's over. But I was so nervous. And then I realized I'm missing a whole day in Africa, and everybody paid for me, and I'm missing a whole day, and I'm a loser, and nobody could care. I literally sat there on the floor crying, like covering my face, for like 45 minutes, because I just realized, what do I have to rush around for? I have a whole day until this next flight goes. Oh, you can play that first one, Sean. So, is that good? Can you see me? Brad, I'm calling Brad, I'm crying. I call my friend Ashley. She starts figuring out how to book me a hotel. Then I gotta figure out how to get there. I'm in the middle of New York. I don't know what I'm doing. And honestly, I was in JFK for 5 hours before I got to my hotel because I had lost all like hope at that point. And again, I'm crying again. I cried so much this week, you guys. It was such an overwhelming week. I just had lost all hope. And honestly, I thought, I'm just gonna go home. Like, I knew this would happen. This is what I was afraid of. I'm just gonna go home. And then I thought again of all of you who have given me so much of your money and had thought, believed in me and been praying for me. And I thought, well, I can't let you all down. It's gonna be all over Facebook and everyone's gonna be asking. So even Brad, he asked me, like, well, so what did you do? Should you just come home? And I thought, well, I don't know. So anyways, I finally get to a hotel. Call Kenya Airlines, and I figured, everyone, I hear about tickets and airports all the time. You miss your flight, they'll just rebook you on the next one, the next day, right? Easy. Not so easy. What you have to do is cancel the flight that you missed, which there's fees, $600 worth of fees, and you don't just get to get on the next flight. You have to buy a whole new ticket, which was $1,200. So I missed it by total maybe a half hour when I really thought about it, but they literally had all just left the counter. So I'm $1,800 in the hole, and I haven't even left yet. We don't have $1,800. I'm already feeling like a failure, feeling like I've lost all my hope. My passion is just drained. But Brad's like, just book it, you'll be fine, and we'll figure out the money later. So I get my flight booked for the next day. It leaves at 12:55. I get to the airport, I'm in line, and I meet this woman. This is Fatima. She was also flying alone. So she's from India originally, but she was flying to, I think, Mozambique or something in Africa. And we just make friends. And I thought, if anything, we kept each other such good company. She was the sweetest lady. We still connect on WhatsApp. She just messaged me last night, and she invited me to India. But I thought, who knows what God's doing? Who knows? And I met this beautiful woman. We made new friends. We kept each other company in JFK for hours and hours, and I just trusted in God. We've been trusting him this whole time. He knows what he's doing. Who knows? And we both work, and money will come. Money comes, money goes, right? But Brad said he called Chad, actually, and I told him, Ashley missed her flight, And Chad said, well, are you surprised? I mean, not that I'm a loser surprised, but like, are you surprised? Like, do you think the devil wants her to get to Africa? And seeing now all that has transpired and all that happened in Africa, I believe that. And I believe that anyways, but in the moment I felt like a complete loser failure. But he didn't. He didn't want me to get there. And I'm gonna show you photos and videos, but Chad was so right. He didn't want me to get there. And I know why, because what happened in Africa and what's gonna happen through all of you, God is going to change Africa for generations to come, a place you may never set your foot on, but you're going to bless people for generations to come, and they're going to come to know the love of Jesus because of me missing my flight and because of all of you. So what's going to happen now? Sorry, this looks not so professional, but I was just really tired, you guys. I didn't want to put together a slideshow. So we're just going to go through, and I'm just going to share stories as we go. So go ahead and go on to the next one. So we get to Nairobi, Kenya. It was a 15-hour flight. It really wasn't that bad, and I'm not a good traveler. But the sights you see the second you get out are incredible. And if you're my friend or if you want to come over one time, you need to come over and look at all, like, literally 1,000 photos and videos that I took. But you can just go ahead and scroll. I mean, this was the third world. I wasn't in the city. I wasn't in a really well-developed place. Like Kampala City is a little bit developed. I mean, there's buildings. I mean, it's like typical. She's carrying bananas on her head. The things that you see, I just looked out the window for hours and hours and stared. So everywhere on the roads that we weren't on, people were selling. There was vegetable stands, fruit stands. This is just a home where they have their clothes. They were selling toys, and these are like American toys. And there's clothes everywhere that they're selling clothes. And I'm thinking, where are all these clothes come from? It's not like they have an Old Navy or a Penny's, you know, and Boniface, my friend, said they come from America. And that struck me, and I thought, I was honestly, everywhere we'd go, I would look for clothes that looked familiar to me, because I thought maybe that was something that I donated. Because, I mean, really, when you think about, oh, these are going to Africa, send your clothes off, people need them, really, everywhere was American-looking clothing or American toys or pots and pans. So when you give that stuff away, these people were not wearing what Brad and I are wearing. Hardly. These are for like special events. They were just wearing regular old clothes that we give. That's special. This is my friend, Pastor Esther. She owns the orphanage that I was going to. So we were on our way from the airport to the orphanage, which was like a 2-hour drive, but it flew by because it was just incredible everywhere that we went. So with the money that I was given by all of you, I was able to every day buy the orphanage their lunches, which these kids only eat breakfast at 10 a.m. and a lunch. They don't eat dinner. There's no snacks. There's no, hey, go grab a bottle of water if you're thirsty, or go get a juice box out of the fridge. Pause this one real quick. It's gonna lag a little, sorry. They also get up at 5 a.m. to pray. When's the last time you woke up your American children at 5 a.m. to pray, huh? Anybody? Any of you kids woke up at 5 a.m. to pray lately? No, so these kids get up at 5 a.m. to pray. Then they have another 5 hours till they eat their breakfast, which is just porridge. Which is like a really liquidy oatmeal, if you don't know what that is. So we went to the orphanage right away. They were gonna have me go to the hotel and rest, but they did not care about me resting. They took me right to the orphanage after a 15-hour flight. And this is the video as we are pulling in. Sorry if it lags. I did not expect this either. This was such the welcoming. You can close anything else, Sean, that's open.
Wanted to welcome you.
Anyways, it will work itself out, hopefully, after it gets going. But they're all just screaming. I mean, you heard their little voices screaming, and they ran up to the van. Luckily, I had my phone out so I could record it, but they were, all of them, just screaming. And this is when I got out of the van. my gosh. That was so overwhelming. I was trying so hard to like hold in all my tears because I didn't want to freak them out. But that was something. So they were just, I was the first Mzungu woman, white woman, that's come to their village. Some of them, babies, toddlers, were scared to death of me because they had never seen a white woman before. They would literally cry. So I was the first American woman that these kids have ever seen. And they were so excited. They were so, so excited. And you're going to hear in some of these videos, sorry, you guys. They were,
Say cheese. Okay, cheese. Cheese. Jesus. Jesus. Everybody. Jesus. Again. Jesus. I love you.
They love Jesus so much. Because they have so little, you guys. And you'll see in these photos, these kids are dirty. Their shirts, their pants, if they have shoes on, are just torn and tattered. But they love Jesus so much. And that opened up my eyes because you hear about that, you see that on TV or whatever. But they have so little, but they have so much faith. And what do we have in America? We have an abundance, right? Even the poorest among you, the poorest among us that we know, think of the poorest person you know. Maybe you're the brokest person that you know. You're rich in these people's eyes. You are rich in their eyes. But in things, right? Things that don't matter. In America, we all look and see what the friends' houses, their cars, the newest fashion that they're wearing. Those things don't matter. These people have nothing. One woman who was like a cook here had the same pair of clothes on for 2 days straight. 2 days. But their faith is so incredibly strong. In America, that's like, we don't care about that. If we look good, got a nice house, you got a savings, you're going on vacations, that's what we think is like the picture perfect life. So I had brought 2 big suitcases full of toys that a friend of mine had donated. And first off, you guys, look at my dress. Look how they made it. These are not my hips. This is my belly, though. I did gain 5 pounds. I gained 5 pounds there. But anyways, I had brought 2 big suitcases full of toys to donate, as well as some deodorants, women deodorants, men deodorants, socks, underwear, toothbrushes, toothpaste. I had donated a bag like that they have at the airports airports were throwing away, and in them was like a pair of socks, a travel toothbrush, an eye mask, stuff that they would give away in airports. And it was so awesome to give away, obviously, the stuff to the kids, and I thought, honestly, I'm so naive, I thought they would be like, oh, toothbrush, toothpaste. They were jumping up and down, screaming for a toothbrush. A toothbrush and a travel-sized toothpaste. You know what our kids would do if we gave that to them? They could care less. What do your kids do when they get underwear at Christmas time? They throw it behind. They don't care. They were screaming. They carry their toothbrush around all day. Some of them would eat the toothpaste slowly during the day. They thought it was candy because we didn't tell them that it was toothpaste. But they eat it because they thought it was sweet. They thought it tasted good. They thought it was candy. So they would slowly eat it throughout the whole day. Or when they got a new pair of underwear, I saw them, they had stuffed it in their shirts so nobody would take it. One kid took another kid's toothbrush, and it was a big fight. They were screaming at each other. But toothbrushes and toothpaste. Some of you gave me maybe $10, and I was so grateful for that. Do you know how many toothbrushes I got with $10? Do you know how many deodorants I got for $10? And if they only got a toothbrush, they were so happy. They were so happy, you guys. And then we gave the adults, this was like even more eye-opening and more special for me. And I had just happened to throw these deodorants and those airport bags in there, like last minute, which I packed these bags at like exactly 49 pounds. But the teachers lined up and we gave them those bags. And we gave them deodorants. We gave them a deodorant and a pair of tube socks. And they were so happy. I did not expect that. I really, truly did not expect that. And I love this kind of stuff. I research this kind of stuff. But they got these these deodorants, these are grown adults, and they didn't even know what they were. And sadly, you can just mute that until we think it's working. When I got to the airport, right in Nairobi, you guys, it smelled horrible. So bad. And I am not like, Brad can smell things right away. I can't. I can't even tell you how bad this airport smelled. And instantly, I was so judgy. I thought, oh gosh, Africans like don't know hygiene or something. Maybe they're just too busy running around. Nobody's taught them good hygiene skills. They smelled it smelled horrible there. And it's just hot. They like it to be warm everywhere. There's no fan in the airplane. There's no air conditioning anywhere. It smelled so bad. And then I realized these people don't know what deodorant is. They've never seen that. That's a luxury to them. Their money goes toward food and not even a bottled water that comes from a well that they have to go pump. Deodorant is a luxury. My friend Boniface literally had to show them tell them what it was, how to open it, how to take that little plastic thing off, how to screw it, and what it was. And they thought you put it on your clothing. They didn't realize it was for your skin. They literally didn't know what deodorant was. How much deodorant is like, no, big deal. I have like 5 deodorants. Like everywhere I look, there's a deodorant. They did not have any. They were so happy. Every day they said, thank you so much. They didn't expect gifts. Of course they expected things for the kids, but they didn't expect anything for themselves. So that was huge. I told Brad it was great giving the things to the kids, but like to the adults, that was amazing. That was really special for me. Do you think any of those videos are going to work? Oh, I wanted you guys to hear them singing. Well, right when I got there, they were singing songs and dancing, which was my most absolute favorite thing. Everywhere I went, I just had them all sing. This is a video of me riding a boda, which was really fun. My dad, I don't think, was very happy with me. He said, that's great, you did it once, don't do it again. Because I don't know if you've ever seen pictures or videos from places like this. There's no structure on the roads. And there's millions of people in this city. Imagine no structure, and there's hundreds of thousands of these motorbikes. No structure, so you can imagine my dad was like a little bit like, oh, great, Ashley, you're having all these experiences. This was one of the dresses that we had made, which a woman had made in less than 1 day. Got my measurements and had it made in less than a day. They do really great work, too. The work ethic in Africa is tremendous. Okay, this video has to work. So I had to get that dress because we were going to a women's prayer service. And this was something that we had, like, the worship today was amazing. This was something that, thinking back still, was so incredible. The fire these women had, if it's gonna work, it's probably gonna but the women were just marching up and down. I mean, they were just marching and praying and like telling God and like, they were so full of fire.
The promise we declare the years that was stolen.
Yeah, it was powerful.
Yes, that was stolen. Being restored to you. Being restored to you. Declare, decree, declare, run in the spirit, run in the spirit, run in the spirit. That vision, write it on the tablet, that you may see it, that you may run with it, that you may see it, that you may run with it. Lord, we have come as Bathsheba, reminding you the promises
That little girl.
that you spoke for our homes, that you spoke for our marriages, that you spoke for our homes. Yes, we have come to report. We are here to report. Where is she? The God of Elijah. Where is the God of Elijah? The one.
So that they were praying over specific things, and I thought, oh, by now they'd move on to the next subject, praying over something else, right? Because I'm an American faith. Like we pray for something for 1 minute and you move on to the next. They were praying over, pause it right here. They were praying over specific things for like a half hour. Okay, we're going to pray for your families. And they'd pray, and the women were walking. That little girl in the pink was walking back and forth, you know, mimicking what all these women before her were doing. Wow. Like we're your pastors, and sometimes we forget to pray before dinner, if I'm going to be honest with you. Or dinner. And I don't know if you can tell here by the floor, but it was raining this day. And there had to have been, not kidding you, had to have been 1,000 women there, plus. I didn't scroll all of my video all the way back because I didn't want it to be like gawking on all of them. It was raining. People don't just have cars here. And these women were wearing these dresses and wearing heels with a baby strapped on their back, and they had walked there in the rain. And when I would tell people, when I was there the whole time, they'd ask how America is, and I'd say, oh yeah, like our faith is in the West is not like it is here. When it rains and snows in the Midwest, people stay home, and you know that's just the truth. And they would literally, teenage boys would laugh out loud at that. They thought that was absurd, like they thought I was joking. Or on a nice day, people don't come to church because it's a lake day, you know, in the Midwest. Or if they're sick, if you're sick, you stay home, right? Because, I mean, really, in my Western mind, I don't want you to come here if you're like hacking all over us. But they think, well, if you're sick, shouldn't you go to church? Shouldn't you go to church and get your healing if you're sick? Look, we have it so backwards. And honestly, I got to speak on Sunday there, and you know, in America, we're like, oh, pray for Africa, pray for the orphans. Oh, they're hurting over there, and they're hungry, and they're so poor. And I told them, you guys need to pray for us, because we have it backwards. And I'm sorry if that convicts you, or if you think I'm talking to you. I'm not talking to anybody specific, but I'm talking to you. We don't do that. When it's a nice day, you do want to stay home. And you do. Some of you do. When it snows hard and you've lived in the Midwest all of your lives, you don't come to church. When you feel like you got a little bit of a headache, you think, oh yeah, I got an excuse. I don't got to go to church. You know, we have Wednesday nights every night and every week, and we have maybe 5 people there. And we have it so backwards. We have it so backwards. These people walked in the rain to get to church because they knew the God of the universe was going to be there. And these people had things they needed to be prayed for. Some of them were so poor, they had nothing. They hadn't fed their families. They didn't know how they were going to feed their children their next meal. We can't even imagine that. Because even when we're broke as a joke, we still go out to eat. Even when you're in debt, you still go out to eat. My kids go to the pantry all day long, even when we have an abundance of food. They're just like, we have no food, Mom. You know, like we truly can't fathom this. These people had to get to church because they knew their miracle was there. And sure, they can get their miracle at home, but God brings us together, right, in this place, because we're ushering in God's presence here. Yes, God can bless you at home, and he can bring you your miracle at home, but they knew there's something special about getting to church, and they had to get there. Some of them were widows, and they didn't have a husband. They didn't have somebody bringing an income for them. And we just can't even fathom that, because we have so much. Even those of you who feel like you don't have so much, you have so much. These people have so little, and I honestly thought, God, take it all away. Take it all away if I can have a little bit of this faith. Because they might not have a lot, but these people are getting to heaven on their faith. So those are all crutches of people who had been healed at this particular couple's events. And they had left their crutches behind. Greg posted this on Facebook on one of my things. He said, we just don't see these kind of miracles in America anymore. And we don't, Greg. We don't. But we have insurance. And even if you don't have insurance, you have Medicaid, right? And even if you don't have that, you can still go to the ER. You could still get a surgery. You can still get done what you need to get done. Or you can go in your pantry and you can get some medicine. These people, nobody in Africa has insurance. When they get sick, when they have an accident, when they have whatever, they can maybe get to a hospital, maybe, if they're not out in the bush. if they can afford a boat to ride. Otherwise, they only have God. They literally only have God. So when your baby's sick, when you're sick, when your kid fell and needs stitches, they really, literally, and that's like, oh, that's funny, you pray when your kid needs stitches. They really do. That's all they have. That's all they have is God. And again, that's like, we can't get that through our brains because we're blessed with insurance. Even with our high insurance prices, we still have something. So these are all the people who had so much faith knowing that they could come, hobble in on the crutches, and God healed them. So we don't see these kind of miracles, right? We don't see those. Because we don't need God when we have insurance. We don't need God when we have credit cards. We don't need God to fill our gas tank or our fridge. But these people do. That's literally all they have is God. On top of the crutches are caps of Muslims who had left that faith and had chosen to follow Jesus on every single one of those. So cool. So cool. Okay, you can go on to the next. And mind you, there had to have been at least 1,000 women there. The biggest event I've ever been a part of was something like that. And they fed every single person lunch, a huge lunch, a traditional lunch that had been eaten everywhere else, not like scraps. A big, huge lunch because the African culture really cherishes blessing people. And in the video, we already passed it, I think. When I first arrived, oh God, it was like, I wanted to be like, get up. Oh, I am not worthy of this. Old. She had to have been in her 80s, hobbled in with a little barefoot boy, and they were kneeling at my feet to greet me, shaking my hand. Because in the African culture, they really honor guests, and they want to bless them because they know that that's where their blessing comes from God. So this woman was kneeling at my feet, grabbing my hand, shaking my hand. All of the children kneeled. Even when they would say thank you for their toothbrush or whatever, they kneeled and said, on their knees and said thank you and shook my hand. And I thought, oh my gosh, I told Brad this a couple days ago. The last time, I'm embarrassed for how our friend Reverend Wambua felt the last time that he came, because I guarantee so many of us just walk right past him. Like, that's just the American culture. Even some of us walk past each other. But in the African culture, guests are really honored and blessed. Even when I go into anybody's home, they give me the biggest meal I have ever had in my entire life. That's why I gained 5 pounds, you guys. But so I'm thinking, the next time he comes here, I'm going to tell each and every one of you so that you guys can really just give him the honor that he's due. Okay, this was the same day as a church service. You can tell by my dress. And this was a group of boys, probably in 15 or so, that come to the orphanage to play soccer. And I'm a boy mom, and I love soccer, so they really just touched my heart. And I gave one of the boys, I don't know how much money, like $20 or something, or like $10, and he was able to go and get 2 soccer balls, because the one they had was flat and super dirty, and a bunch of candy, which to me I thought, oh, no big deal. Like they have probably get new soccer balls all the time. And there's photos and videos that are coming, but they were so thankful for just a ball. And how many balls do you parents have around your house? Brad wants to give them all to the Goodwill because we have so many lying around, right? You have so many balls, like soccer ball, baseball, football, tennis ball. They're all over. These boys got this one ball. These kids are like 15, 16, 17. Some of them look at them. They're so happy for this ball. And it made me think, I have had friends that do mission trips or fundraisers. I'm like embarrassed to give them $5 or $10. Let me give you $50, then I'll feel better about myself. But some of you literally gave me $10. And I was so grateful for even $10. Look what your $10 did. Every dollar truly did count. They played with this ball till it looked like the old ball before I left. It was so dirty. They were so happy just to have one ball. They have one ball because we gave that other ball to that actual soccer team. Pause this video. And the orphanage kept the other ball. But even, thinking back to those older kids, Pastor Esther, who runs the orphanage, she said that these kids she heard them outside one day, they were practicing, and they said, oh, I'm just so hungry. These boys were just talking to each other, I'm just so hungry, I haven't eaten in like 2 days. Or the other one said, if I could just have something to drink, I'm just so thirsty. So she started taking in these boys like after they do whatever. I didn't ever see them till like the end of the day, so maybe their parents can afford school. But she started taking them in, and that broke my heart. I never think about if my kids are hungry or thirsty because they just go and eat. Some of these kids, they're starving. Okay, will this work? This is last Sunday's church service. I automatically start dancing when I hear this, but I feel like I'm still there. Kids are up in the back there. Okay, so I think where they have their church service is actually their dormitory, if it's the same spot or not. But so they used to have church from 10 to 2 that day. We didn't get there African time. There's African time and there's Mzungu time. So we got there in African time, which was like 11. So we got there late. But so this is literally I started recording right as I had walked in. Like so fun, so full of energy. That's why I'm so grateful coming here on today. That we had that energy and we had that. So thank you, because there's people around the world who have nothing, and they're singing hallelujah. You heard them. Nothing. They have nothing. They don't have toothbrushes. They don't have food, an abundance of food. They don't have bottled water, but they're still singing hallelujah. And I'm sorry, but some of you come here week after week and sit on your butts and don't give God the praise that he deserves. We all do it. Brad and I got in an argument on the way here, and I wanted to go home. We all do it, and it's wrong. And it took me going all the way to Africa to come back and tell you guys that that's wrong. That's wrong of you. We have so much to be thankful for. Is that so simple, too? I'm not preaching anything amazing. I'm not a preacher, so I'm just telling you from my experiences, but we have so much to be thankful for. Even if you feel like your life is crazy, or your spouse is crazy, or your health, or finances, or whatever, you have so much to be thankful for. And these people have nothing, and they're still singing hallelujah, and we have the audacity to wonder why we don't see miracles, you guys. Right, we have the audacity in America, and I wondered the same thing as Greg, and this is nothing against what Greg said, but we all wonder, why aren't we seeing miracles? Because we have so much. God has blessed you all with so much, even the poorest among you, and we don't give God the praise he deserves. And I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, and I'm sorry if you're not going to come back because you feel like I'm directing it right at you, and I'm not directing it at anybody. I'm directing it at myself, too. We don't do that. Because we don't need to. We don't have to. God isn't a priority for us Americans. Yeah. They were like, thank God Laura Lee had her EpiPen ready. No, Africans either know you're going to die or we're going to pray for you, and then we're going to bring you back to life. So really, even if you feel like I cannot ever do that, I can't believe she did that, you have to get there. You guys have to go. You have to get out of your comfort zones and experience this kind of stuff. Smell the horrible smells. You guys, I didn't go to the bathroom all day, even me, and I love this place because their bathroom was literally a concrete, like a 5x5 room with a hole in the ground. I literally couldn't even bring myself to go. I had to go pee or whatever all day long, but I just held it because even I was too westernized. And I thought, I'm just going to bring myself to do it, experience it all. Even I couldn't do it. And Jill and I were just complaining in the bathroom how small a bathroom is. I've already forgotten that quickly. They pee and poop in a hole in the ground. Like it's no big deal. It's just their life. And we wonder why we're not seeing the miracles. Because God's given us so much in America, and we are so blessed. This is the best country in the world. And they know it, and they talk about it all the time. That's why they're amazed how churches and Western Christianity is. We are living in the best country in the world, And Reverend Wambua told me many times, the only reason God hasn't struck down America for its perversion and its full of sin is because of all the good that America is doing around the world, helping in other countries. So thank God for that. Because we don't deserve it. We deserve to be in hell. America deserves to be struck down like Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Okay, go ahead and play. This will bring you some joy. They're the kids at church. Remember, they have no parents. They're orphans. What's going on. Remember again, these are orphans. Our kids like, ugh, get annoyed at their parents. These kids have no parents. They're orphans. And there were some that did have parents that come to church, come to this church, or come to that orphanage. Because in Africa, school costs money. So there was about 25 of these kids that were actual orphans, and the other like 60 that are there every day. Their parents are so poor they can't even afford school. And you know, nothing makes me more upset during the school year than when my kids say, oh, I don't want to go to school, I hate school. And I thought, these kids love school. They love it. They really love it. And these kids, though, are so poor they don't get to go to an actual school. They go to the orphanage to go to school. And what are they screaming in there? Amen! Hallelujah! And our American kids hate school. I mean, honestly, if I would take a poll of you kids right now, you guys don't like school because you get to go. You get to go. You're blessed with an education. The poorest among us can go on to be a doctor or a lawyer. These kids love school. One of the boys came up and gave a testimony during service, and he said, I thank God for school. I thank God for everybody here. I thank God for my country. I thank God that my parents can afford school. When's the last time our kids have said something like that? They really love school. That boy with his hands up with the big old smile, he had my favorite smile. You guys, just look at him. That's unforgettable, that smile. So I loved going back at the top with where all the kids were, although I was a big distraction for them. But it reminded me of, like, you guys know Brad and I, and kids are our heart. We love kids. We love families here. And we've made this a place, like, comfortable because we're like, oh, like, we don't, like, Brad and I love kids. We were youth pastors, but we're afraid that we don't want to, like, annoy people with the children in here. You know, like, we don't want to, the kids are running, or like, oh gosh, children's running. But there, like, kids were the center of this church service. Like, they all had instruments. They had, like, triangles, and, you know, they were going and playing. And I thought, like, yeah, like, that brought so much energy and youthfulness and fun. And again, these are orphans. I love this photo. So this is African time, so people just trickled in when they could come, and it got pretty full toward the end. This woman was giving a testimony in their language. I couldn't understand her. But she was saying she was grateful for the bike that God had blessed her with to give to her son, because it was costing her $1 a day to send him where, I'm guessing, school or wherever he was going, $1 a day, which even at that's $30 a month. That adds up, you know, but to them, that's a lot of money. So she was just giving God praise for the bike that God had blessed her with. So I got to preach Sunday, which was really amazing, and I had to use an interpreter, so that was something different. This was us just praying afterward. It was really a humbling and experience. It was just absolutely incredible. And I thought, like, God, like, why do they want me? I'm just like a nobody, like, you know, wanting me to pray for them. That was all the line of kids that had lined up to get prayed for. Look at their clothes. Some of them are all torn and tattered. This is a video, I think, of them saying bye. You guys, they called me Mommy. So in these videos, they're saying, bye, Mommy. Or or they'd call me Mzungu mommy because literally, like, I was their mom.
Bye.
Those who didn't have kids, like, I was their mom.
Watch out.
So I didn't get a chance to take photos in the dorm where they sleep because I was just so overwhelmed. But in the dorm where they sleep, mind you, again, there's like 25 kids that live there, and they had maybe 5 beds and like a dirty old couch with only two cushions on it. So I honestly didn't have the heart to ask, so where does everybody sleep? I think they just make do. And even when Pastor Rita brought me in there, she said, this is our dorm, and she was really pretty proud of it. And she said, we're just trusting in God. We're just believing in God for more beds. We're just trusting in God. And like she really was. I could really feel it in her heart. She really was trusting and believing God for a bed. You guys, a bed. And even the beds that they did have, these are children. So kids pee at night, right? Every night, your kids pee. So one time there was a mattress outside, and all the kids were jumping on it and playing on it. And in my American mind, I thought, oh, that's the mattress they're throwing away because it's torn and tattered, right? No, that's just the mattress that they had to just put outside because one of the kids had peed on it. So it needed to air out for the day. And then it would just go back on the bed. And it's not like they have sheets. So these poor kids are just sleeping on pee-stained mattresses every day. It's okay. You know, and I thought, like, how simple is it just to buy, in America, we have those waterproof sheets. Thank you. And then so I thought, okay, you guys, we have to do something. We have to get these kids beds, right? And I'm so grateful for being able to go there because I thought, no way are these kids sleeping on this cement floor. Or 2 or 3 kids are sleeping in a bed. Or maybe some of them are sleeping on the floor. And do you know how quickly we could just raise money to maybe get a few more bunk beds? It's just simple stuff like that, you guys. And to us, that's no big deal. I bet Sean could make a bunk bed right now if he needed to for his kids. Or we could go on a swap site and get one for $10. It's easy in America. Or you go use your Nebraska Furniture Mart card and you go get your kid a bed. Your kid does not go without a bed. Have any of you ever thought about where your child is going to sleep at night? Have they had to sleep on a pee-stained mattress? Like it's no big deal? Never. Never. So after, we're going to talk about getting them some water, but after that, we really have to get these kids some beds. And along the roads where they're selling stuff, they were selling bunk beds, and they have a 3-level bunk bed. So I got the numbers of how much they're going to cost. So we have to get outside of ourselves, you guys, and no matter how much you need or what you're saving up for, we have to be a church, like Brad's been saying, that is not just focused on ourselves. Not just focused on ourselves. Because we have all that we need. We have all that we need. Even if we still complain about this building. But even now, I'm like, if we never leave, this is like way more than enough. Okay, this was after church, and I just wanted to take a picture to show you guys how the women serve there and serve guests. I mean, every time they came to just bring me something, they brought it on their knees. This was just in the alley where the girls were washing the dishes and where they wash their clothes. This will lighten the mood. This was our car ride home, and I hope it will play. It's the sweetest video ever. This was one of the old men that was at the church service, and he came to lunch with us, and he didn't talk the whole time. I don't think he spoke English. There's more, but he just sang for like 10 minutes straight. He didn't talk for like the 2 hours that were there, so he just needed to get that song on. Obviously, it was a song about Jesus, but it was so great. I'll post it on Facebook for you guys. You have to see. And he also loved seeing himself in the camera, you know, something different. This was, I love taking pictures as we were describing. This guy, can you see what's on the back of his bike? Those are eggs. Like one topple and he's in big trouble. Okay, these guys are working on that pole. They didn't have a ladder. I was like shocked by this. They didn't have whatever tool that thing is that lifts you up. These guys just climbed up that ladder. This was on the way to the orphanages. I think this is a video. That's okay. But they make their bricks, individual bricks. Each one, individual. The videos of me arriving were always fun. They were just always happy to see us. Go ahead and go on to the next. Sorry, you guys, we're going late. You can go if you need to. I do especially want to get to the water, and then we can close up. There they are with their ball. They loved that ball. Next time I go, we have to send a lot of deflated balls. This kid had my favorite smile. Look at his big old teeth. Go ahead and go through these fast. These are just some individual pictures, and I'll post there. I took an individual of every kid, and I'll have to try to get their names. So maybe we can print some out, and that can be like the kid that you're praying for. They were funny. Some of them were always like super scared or bashful. Others like had like a pose, and it was great. One kid in one of these was wearing the same, he was little, Cooper's age. He had like the same outfit on for 3 days straight. I think he just liked the shirt. It was a Big Hero 6 shirt. The kids in the uniforms, their parents can afford a uniform. Other ones, if they don't have a uniform, their parents just couldn't afford them. Like that's a uniform. She did that the whole time I was there. She was so bashful. This kid. Oh my gosh. Even as sad as some of them look, you guys, they just brought me so much joy. They were so happy. This kid, he wore that outfit for 3 days straight. Oh, he was a chunk. This kid, I stopped and I showed Cameron. He's wearing a pair of Nike shorts, like pink shirt, looking like regular old. He looked like just a regular old kid that would be Cameron's friend, and that like really struck me. Like these are just regular old people, regular people. Okay, that's the last of the individuals, I think, and then I really want to get to the water. Oh, there's a little guy. His sandals were on the wrong feet. Okay, here's one that's funny. They're sitting down. You can scroll to the photo. This girl's got a huge knife, like a 12-inch knife. She's using to cut these banana fibers, but I want you to see what they were making. I think it's the next one. Sorry, you guys, this is slow. Okay, maybe one more. There. That's their toys. That's their doll. That's their toy. I had brought them some toys, but without, this is just their doll that they play with, that the kids learn how to make. And the next one is their ball. That's what they were kicking. Which really, Lorelai's like, that's nicely made. I could tell her face. And they were very nicely made, but, and again, like that's just stuff we take for granted. You think, oh, they sure have something, but these were some of the toys that we had brought. Okay, let's try to scroll and get to the water. So every day, twice a day, and they would switch off boys and girls. They would walk to get water. There's no running water anywhere at the orphanage, not in the kitchen, not in the toilets, not to bathe, nothing. So they take these big, I told them we call those jugs. They call them jerrycans, and that was the best photo of the trip. And they fill them up twice a day. Until we get there, this is where they cook. I gave them some granola bars, which were mine. I thought I would be hungry there, but they fed me so well. She made me do this pose, you guys. I did not. That was like this wide. This is lunch. You can see if this will play. So their lunch, it looks like some kind of banana dish. I can't really tell. I didn't want to ask really what it is, but they lick those plates clean. But really, thankfully, thank God, God is giving them food there that's really filling, because breakfast and lunch hopefully fills them over till the next day. And yeah, they lick those plates clean. Okay, here we are getting water. This is the video, so let this play. I sped this up so you can see what their trip to get water was like. This was like a 10-minute walk. It might not work. I'll put this on Facebook too. I sped it up just so you can just see what it's like. Go ahead and go to the next photo. But yeah, it was a good 10-minute walk. This is the well that everybody in this village uses. I think you would call that a well. You just pump that. Go ahead and go to the next. And each boy fills up. They would play in the water a little bit while they're boys. They're messing around. So there they are, filled up the jerrycans. Some of them had holes. I walked past one kid and he splashed me all over as we walked back. So when that well happens to go dry, this is where they get their water from. This is their drinking water, or their cooking water, or water they'd use to bathe with. And obviously they would boil it over the fire first, but this is where they drink their water from. And I was talking to the two men who walked me down there, and I said, no, it's not. You're joking. And they said, no, we're not. This is really where they get their water from. So I told Brad that, and I even knew, okay, we have to do something. God didn't bring us all this way for nothing. So Heritage Church and whoever, my friends and family, are going to help drill what they call a borehole in Africa, and they'll drill down far. I don't know, you men may know. And then there's a big black tank that will sit up, and then it would be like a spout at the end. But we're going to drill it and put it up at the orphanage so that these people never have to do this again, and they can have running water. And they can bathe, which is a human right, having healthy drinking water, so they don't have to get water that has poop and animals and dead bugs in it. And this is our walk back. And they were happy. And they would put one jug here and then hold their friend's hand here to balance. But they weren't, look at their faces, they weren't complaining. They knew this is how we live. This is just how we live. So they thought it would be about $3,500 to drill that thing, but I guess in the location, you have to go farther down. They think it's going to be around $5,000. And I know that right now we're trying to raise our own money to buy a new building, but wow, ooh, poor Heritage Church, we got to push it back a little bit so these people can get their drinking water. So we're going to do that. We're going to get them water. And I told them that last Sunday, and they just freaked out. They were just jumping up in joy just for water. One woman said that she's been praying about that for years. And I thought, what an honor, God, that you would bring me all this way to this particular village, to this particular orphanage. My friend is from Nairobi, Kenya, which it was an hour flight from this village. And this village to the airport was a 2-hour drive. So it's not far. He said, I could have brought her anywhere. He said, but when I prayed about it and prayed about where God wanted me to take her, he said he saw this place. He said he saw Pastor Esther in a dream, and he knew that he had to bring us there. Just so little old South Omaha, Church of God is what I was just going to say, Heritage Church in little old South Omaha can bring this village water. And it won't just bless this orphanage. Everybody in the whole village will be able to go there and use it, and it's an abundance of water. There's no wondering if they'll test it and make sure that it's clean. They do this all over, don't worry. And that will bless this generation, or this village. We'll get to bless a village in Africa for generations and generations to come, and we're going to call it Heritage Well. And they were so excited about that. We'll get our logo up there and everything just because we want to do that. Be selfish. This was my birthday, but we will go ahead and wrap up, you guys. I have so many more videos, really. You need to come to my house, or I'll be posting them on Facebook, and they're all public, so if you're not my friend, still go there or whatever. But it was just the most tremendous experience. And I know so many of you, after seeing the photos and videos, were like, okay, we need to go. The next one is a video if you want to play it, I think. And you do. Like, you really do need to go. I told Brad, honestly, Brad, I don't know if you can handle it. I don't know if he could stand the smells of BO. Like, car rides were horrible. If I'm being honest, people smelled so bad. And actually, I kind of got used to the smell, and I kind of missed that smell. Weirdly enough, I told Brad. But we're gonna go.